Hello and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. I am Lord Forwind, here playing as what we hope will be the mighty Netherland and Dutch Empire. So, I guess, I don't know if you would say the Netherlandish Empire, because it just sounds odd. I guess just the Dutch Empire. So, we have started the trade tug of war between us and Germany, between the British and Germany over us, and we have started attracting foreign investors to our lands to improve our oil production because, well, we're going to get some. We essentially get two production civilian factories from trading. Plus, we get some from our subject, which is cool. We are using them right now to construct a line of forts on the Dutch border. We've got level 4 forts going up. We got it in one province, started on the next. It's a long way to go. Really wondering how in the world we're going to hold on to this province. Oof. Very worried about that. Probably going to end up making that like a level 6 or 7 fort. We also have to be aware of the fact that when the World War II fully starts, Belgium down here is going to be absolutely annihilated, which means we're going to have to also build forts along this direction and hopefully hold on to this land here. So we'll see how that goes. We still have absolutely no manpower. We've got enough supplies for it, but we don't actually have enough manpower. Other than that, we have an advisor, Jacob Adrian de Wild, gives us a little bit more political power gain, but more importantly, pushes our stability to max, which is quite a lot of bonuses actually for us. Our political power gain is really nice. Anyhow, we're working on abandoning the gold standard and working our way down to the inundation lines. We'll see how this goes. We may appoint a new supreme commander and other stuff. However, our first priority has to be getting our forts in place. If we can hold a line of forts with troops versus the Germans, we should be really good. Probably once we get the forts done, we may spend some time building some basic civilian factory stuff, but we also may throw up, and I really do want to, some anti-air guns. We do get some events that give us some of that. So it automatically gives us some land in coastal forts, which is nice. So if we can build a lot of forts before we research this should push us a lot closer to max, which is what I'm hoping. Plus, apparently it's going to give us 4 or 5 anti-air. The big focus has to be getting war on pacifism going. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, though, we are going to get a military theorist on the field to get our doctrine research faster, but more importantly, get some army experience going so I can modify our templates whenever that occurs. Yeah, whenever that occurs. We really do need some war propaganda, but we won't be able to do that for an age. So other than that, that's going well. I'm going to spend a little bit more time than usual looking at Mexico than I will other nations. Maybe the US a little bit too, just because I'm curious as to how Mexico plays out during this time period, thanks to its new idea trade. So it looks like they started off by exiling Calais, so plan of Agua Prieta, exiling Calais, and then banning political militias, and then moving towards revolutionary women, which makes sense, some additional civilian factories. And they'll probably do Soldateras, or however you say that soon. We'll see. Maybe even women's suffragette. I'm not sure. Be very interesting to see. There we go. We have now officially abandoned the gold standard, and we've also researched Marines, which should be helpful. suppose I should probably divert some of my attention to getting an additional civilian factory or two going. No, I'm going to do overturn military budget cuts to hopefully get some war support. That way we can maybe actually get some troops trained. Okay, so get a radio going. Reinforce rate of 5%. Doesn't sound like much, but it's useful. I'm going to do construction here. Hopefully reducing the construction speed and boosting our construction speed should allow us to produce a large amount of forts rather quickly. So our first foreign investment done in East Indies was good. So that should have boosted our production significantly higher, or our colonial nations higher. Interestingly enough, our forts available for construction has gone, our factories available construction has gone down. Interesting. Maybe it's just the way the world has moved at the moment. Maybe oil isn't in overwhelmingly high demand. Select oil. Yeah. I want to figure out who I'm sending oil to. Nope, nothing. Okay. Dutch East Indies is sending it to Australia. We are sending it to France. Okay, that's who we're sending stuff to. Okay, fair enough. I've never bothered to try and figure out the trade system in this game because it really doesn't make a ton of difference. We are apparently not part of the London Naval Treaty, which is interesting. So is Germany part of it? Is the question. No. Italy? Italy is part of it, okay. Portugal, Castile, nothing to do with it. London gets a huge bonus of it, okay. Ethiopia died. Unfortunately. It would be really nice if some point Paradox makes a nice little DLC that's minor that gives both Ethiopia and, if you form it, the Byzantines like a unique focus tree. Because you can recreate the Byzantine Empire. I have not done it, but it is possible to do. But I would love to see a focus tree for if you can survive as Ethiopia. They're kind of the old Albania of the game from Europa, where it always died first. Okay. Some of this foreign industry stuff might actually be worth doing. Might as well, I'm guessing, use it now, but at the same time I kind of want to improve and power up my government a bit. For now we'll do construction speed. I just want to try and get it at a manageable level. That would be 2 provinces done, quite a few more to go. Okay. Once we do that, we'll go for the inundation lines, and then we'll probably, I guess, offend... Well, we can't offend Germany until tension reaches 10, which it will soon. But then we'll probably jump over here and try and get to continue the Zuiderzee works. I don't know which is actually better here. Ow, cat just clawed me. Fokker or DAF? DAF. Not entirely sure. Domestic jet engines or domestic vehicles? Domestic vehicles might be worth it, but at the same time producing planes... Don't know. Because one gives me steel, the other reduces consumer goods. That gives building and civilian, and that just divides it between non-Holland provinces. I should probably take this tree, that way I get steel production. Okay, fascists have taken over Spain, as usual. And we will do attract foreign investors there as well. Doesn't seem to be any benefits for doing it multiple times, but for right now, anything that reduces consumer goods is useful. I'm curious as to which provinces we can inundate. That will be interesting to see. Okay, we've already started on a new province, building forts. So these forts, 60% reduced attack, should make it so that our troops survive longer. At some point, we're going to probably, I don't know, build up some forts here and then obviously in Amsterdam itself. Of course, if we lose, we just become an exiled government in the UK and we move to Java. Prefer not to do that, though. What I really need to do is figure out how to deploy ships. Ah, here we go, missions. So we can naval exercises. Okay. You know what, I'll put them on naval exercises right now because one thing we have excess amount of is oil. Then we have other ones: patrol, strike force, convoy raiding, convoy escort, naval invasion support, and if we research mines, we can lay and use up mines. But for now, we will deploy all of our ships to get some naval exercises done. I was wondering how I could get naval experience, and it turns out that's how I do it. Which might actually make doing some naval exercises as these guys legitimately a thing to do. Because right now I didn't know how you got naval experience to be useful. Might be able to mod some of our ships, make them a little bit better. We're definitely going to go out of our way now to pick up the additional 3 or 4 dockyards that we can do. That way we can actually produce these things. I mean, that's not going to be produced for 13 years because of iron penalties or steel penalties. The Germans have got a little bit more trade influence than the British. We'll see how that goes. Radio is done. I think we will do director fire, which is our first little naval upgrade. See what that does. Oh. So the big thing is if I take these decisions like 5 or 6 times, I get civilian factories out of it, which is going to be really useful. When removed, I get a building slot and an additional civilian factory in Java. Of course, I don't own Java, but it'll work its way back to me eventually. And we are almost prepared to be able to flood Fortress Holland. So based off where Holland is, I'm going to say we can flood all of this, but I could be crazy. Obviously, we will not flood them until we have to, if we have to. Once we know the Germans will be coming for us, we will flood them. And it will make moving our troops back very difficult, but hopefully it will allow them to stand up to the Germans' advance. Okay, let's see where we could flood. Okay, wait a sec. Here we go. Okay, if we were to do that, Holland. Huh. It looks like we flood all of this, including Amsterdam, and we just hold out in The Hague with a hog. Interesting. Division defense plus 50, entrenchment speed plus 20. Yeah. That's pretty powerful. And then, of course, we'd have to close the dikes and stuff. So we have to, in the event of a war, we have to hold for 14 days before there's trouble. Actually, Germany is now officially pushed us over 10 war tension. So we can actually take that policy and offend Germany even further. They don't like us that much already. Every little bit helps. Up to 25 influence spent. 10 there, 15 there. Got to try and, of course, keep those two vaguely close together. West Indies Oil Company, we'll do that as well. Anything to keep this foreign colonial investment going. Although they are strongly anti-colonist, the Americans have nevertheless taken an interest in our colonies. America at this point owns the Philippines. I don't think that counts as not being colonist. To be fair, they did take it from Spain, but still. Got a very attention-seeking cat here right now. I haven't seen this cat this eager to attention in a long time. It's headbutting my arm if I don't pet him. Okay, that will be a third province fully fortified. Now working on the fourth, so this is going to be pretty tough for the Germans to take. Especially now that we've apparently just enhanced it, which added a fort there, and I don't know where else. It looks like it just added one to this area. Added a couple there. Can't do this until, unfortunately, we have 15 world tension, and we are currently sitting at 10. Ugh. Okay, we'll continue the public works. That should not only improve our construction of forts, but other areas. So 40% construction speed, 10% to fort construction. So this should have a nice 10% construction speed bonus, and then we should actually have a positive one. I don't know where we actually get rid of that penalty, though. Looking around, it doesn't actually show where we get rid of construction penalty. I assume it disappears somewhere up here. Not clear. I don't know. That's done, that's done, that's done. That still's got a way to go. We should probably get an engineer company on the field, or a couple of them. So, oh, we already are using you. Wish there was almost 2 separate tabs, one for ships, one for everything else. Okay, that's a very slow production rate. No production of those two, because they don't actually have factories assigned to them, which is fine with me. I just want the engineer so that the entrenchment on these guys gets even higher. I'm never going to get as high as, say, China, which can have some stupidly high defense bonuses. But 31% fort defense plus 60% penalty to attack means I suspect we can survive a basic infantry attack from Germany. Tanks might be a bit of a problem. Tanks will be a problem, I should say. To inundate takes us 25 political power. So I have to remember to at least have 25 on hand at the beginning of the war. We have already made it up to 104 naval experience, which means, I think, it is time to investigate our coastal defense ship and create a variant of it. Let's do anti-air 2. Anti-air 2 as well. Secondary battery. We do not seem particularly penalized by the naval treaties, which means we can kind of get away with doing what we want. Oops, what are these? That'd be a heavy battery, okay. This would reset our production, but we haven't gotten anywhere anyway, so. Yes. I don't think we can... Yeah, you can't mod convoys. I was curious if one could mod convoys. It was worth looking into. Submarines can't do anything till we get better submarines. Fair enough. US passes the Neutrality Act. Okay. We should actually check out how the US is doing, because they've got some new mechanics as well. Intervention in Asia. Still disarmed, unfortunately for them. Home of the Free, War Department, New Deal is going. Slow recovery is going. Intervention in Asia, though, that's interesting. Where are you pulling? Oh, okay, so war planning. So this is planning if there's an event of a war versus them. Cool. I suspect they're probably going to do this Defense of the Pacific stuff. Look at all these different war plans they can pull off now. Industry. I know I am draining my political power this way, but if I can get some good defenses in place, this will make playing as the Dutch a lot easier. Although I do wish I had gotten those forts after I'd already produced some forts in that area, because it gets more expensive as time goes on. You build higher forts. Okay, grand battle plan, nice. We want to get down to the next entrenchment thing. Or max planning, rather. Obviously, we won't go on the offensive versus anybody pretty much for most of the game, if ever. It's just all fortify versus Germany, and that's it. It's kind of like playing China in some ways so far. You can't produce enough troops. You can't build up enough to contest with Germany, so the only hope is ports versus overwhelming odds. Continue the public works. Nice. We will do finish the Nordostpolder. Cool. Our production is significantly better now. Even though there is still a penalty, we are actually positive. Plus, when we're building a fort, we get an additional plus 10% production as well. There we go. Germany is beating the British in terms of trade influence. Now let's make some trade concessions to the British. Curious as to what will alter in terms of trade influence. I'd guessed 5, but it could be more like 10 or even 15. The key is to try and get the only woman in the only man in the Dutch government, put Wilhelma back in charge as soon as we can. Okay, so it gave, looks like 5% trade influence to the British. Chinese United Front is forming. Good, good. Will it be enough versus Japan? I highly doubt it. Marco Polo Bridge incident, war in China. Beginning of World War II is pretty much about to kick off. They've united some of them, still haven't picked up these two guys. Fortunately, but that's the way it goes. For the Dutch, so we kind of do need to build tall, don't we? It's all we're going to have is 3 provinces in Europe, and what is this? 1 in South America, and then 1 in the Caribbean. I don't have much going for us. What's up with Mexico? Atheist state, so they pretty much kicked out the Catholic Church. Purges in the Soviets, tensions are rising in their potential civil war. So they actually went for a professional army over everything else. Interesting. We'll see what goes on there. There we go. Japan has attacked, and the United Front has formed with everybody except for this one province. 2 warlords actually. There's one down here still. I kind of want to send them like help, but I can't. Good luck, China. You're totally doomed. Unfortunately. I think my ships pretty much have mostly trained up to their full strength. I still get some from naval exercises. Doesn't cost me too much to maintain them on full practice. Once we get our manpower situation solved, we should be able to mass produce troops. We have a fair amount of population. It's not like the Dutch don't have population, but we just can't do anything with it. Nope. Oops, that's 15 versus 20, okay. We want to flop to neutral trade pretty much as soon as we can, so probably next episode, assuming there's no major investments, because if Germany invests again, we'll start placating the British to try and help there. Germans really don't like us. Oh. Let's get war on pacifism. Ever since the Great War, pacifism has run rampant among the Dutch public, making it practically impossible to run a modern military. For too long has the will of the people prevented the full allocation of required funds to the military. They know not the danger they expose themselves. We will declare war on pacifism and banish this unproductive sentiment from the minds of our populace. Yes, we will do that. And then we may improve our western possessions at some point. We'll see. We really do need to get this Fortress Holland and stuff going. Plus, in terms of production, we're actually doing pretty good. We only have like 2 or 3 more we need to actually improve. However, going to move that up there. Oops. Time to go talk to foreign people again. 15% production efficiency. Not bad. Producing 53 oil, up from I think starting at 48. Dutch East Indies sending a lot to Japan and a fair amount to Australia. Curious as to what they are doing for stuff now. Construction's fully done. Wow, impressive. So they actually have some pretty good factories. 1 military, because I control everything else pretty much. We only have 6 ourselves. Not particularly good. We do get 3 from our subjects, though, so those guys are giving us 3. Not bad. Happily take that. Ooh, I think next episode we're going to definitely start getting some engineer companies on the field. Definitely need something there. Ideally, I should try and get a tank division. Or an anti-tank division. That might actually be worth more. Some way to prevent the German takes from just annihilating my defenses. There we go. Do another construction one. So I think that's where we're going to stop it for now. We're getting a lot of foreign investment. We'll soon be able to get some troops on the fields, and Germany is up to liquidating coal, so they haven't even gone after Austria yet. So far we're on pace to do pretty good. So thank you guys all for watching. Bye for now.